you kind of see these ideas that nobody wants to look inward. Nobody wants to think like, if I've been doing the same thing for every day for 3 years and I've seen no results, like, is it me? You know? And like, I think that I've seen a lot of people in the space be like, you just can't do it. Some people just aren't cut out to be content creators, but I don't believe that. Yeah. I genuinely don't. I think with enough willpower and enough kind of belief, you can learn anything. I mean, obviously certain things you can learn. I know that if I wanted to learn how to be a quantum physicist, I wouldn't be able to learn how. But I think that a lot of people can get more confident, the right attitude, they can get better at telling stories, they can get, better at editing. Like, these are all skills you can learn, but you just have to want to do it.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Behind the Stream podcast, episode number 13. Today I am joined by my guest xTwoShoes, or otherwise known as Dan. Hi Dan, welcome
What's up?
To the podcast.
How are you?
I'm not too bad. Today's been all right at work. Like some days are stressful, some days they're not.
There you
stressful.
go. Well,
it was an okay day. We're halfway through.
I'm in the midst of trying to find somewhere to live. So it's pretty stressful. But I'm here and I'm ready to talk whatever you want to talk about. Yeah, I'm just like, we have to leave our current apartment in like 2 weeks because we've had this place for a year. And it turns out it's really hard to find a house out here in 2 weeks.
Why'd you have to
they're selling our building. Selling our apartment. So they were like, oh, okay, you kind of have to leave. And we're like, we'll look for somewhere closer to the time. And then it came closer to the time. We're like, it's too early to look for somewhere now still. And then now it's like, oh, shit, we got to find somewhere to live in 2 weeks. So in the midst of planning, looking at places, trying to figure out, and it's funny because, I think anyone who's not a content creator is like, hey, this is a nice apartment. Whereas for me, I'm like, getting my partner to stand in the other room that like I'm in what would be my stream room, and I'm like yelling at the top of my voice while the real estate agent is standing there so I can check if it's like soundproof enough, like knocking on the walls and stuff. So because here, like in this, I don't know how like I haven't had complaints, because this building, like where this apartment right now, the walls are like A4 sheets of paper. And you came in my stream earlier and I was screaming. Yeah,
you make so much noise sometimes.
I do, I'm loud, yeah. So yeah, I don't know how no one has been like, Daniel, it's 3 a.m, like stop singing Rage Against the Machine covers into your microphone.
So let's talk about like what you're doing at the moment. Yeah. So for people listening, xTwoShoes as say you're a streaming educator, or have some form of background in that.
Yeah.
To also, I'd say you're a variety streamer, but I know you did a video saying how you're not a variety.
Yeah.
Streamer. But then I said, I'm curious as to like, what are you now? What game you're playing? And kind of how's the YouTube going? And you've also got you got a new job as well. Yeah. So yeah, it'd be great to just like hear like
I'll give you
what's going on with all of that.
I'll give you the lore, the timeline, if you will. And I'll try. You're gonna have to shut me up at times, because in Ireland we call it the gift of the gab. So I just won't. I'll talk. So you just feel free to roadblock me at any time.
I'm getting better at interrupting. So
good.
It's a craft. I don't like doing it, but I realize I have to sometimes. So I'll try.
It's like, you're like, it's been 50 minutes and he's still talking about his first stream. Like,
no, I've not said anything.
But so basically, I just have always been fascinated by Twitch and YouTube and all that. Similarly, most people kind of grew up our age watching videos and commentaries and all that stuff. And then at the start of the pandemic, I was working in an ad agency as a videographer. And like a lot of other people, I ended up losing my job, and because my main job was to go out and shoots and do all this kind of stuff, and there was none of that to film. Because there was nothing going on in the world. So I was like, in this apartment with my partner and our housemate. They were both still working. I had no job. I was like collecting the social welfare, and literally just to keep myself busy, I kind of just started to start a Twitch channel, because like not as a means to replace any income or anything, like, because I didn't think of it like anything like that. I just was like, hey, it's something that's always really interested me. I finally have a good computer and I've got all my camera and lights and stuff from my day job. So why don't I just go for it? Have some fun. And I just fell in love with it. I love the idea that I had someone to talk to during the day and just people to hang out with and people who got a kick out of me being silly on the internet. So I was doing that for a while and ended up big enough that when the world started opening back up again, I was able to support myself from it. But what I had started in the meantime, and it was never something I really set out to do. Like I felt like I set out to be a Twitch streamer, but I never set out to be a YouTuber. But like anyone who starts Twitch or starts streaming, I was doing the same thing that everyone does and going online and looking at videos on how to grow and how to do this and what gear you need, blah, 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 blah. I was watching all these great creators, but like there was a lot of stuff that I felt like they weren't talking about that I had done or that I had figured out that I found like, oh, that really worked for me. Like, wow, that really changed my kind of content strategy, if you will. So I ended up just being like, you know what? I'm going to make that video. I'm going to make the video that I would wanted to see. And at this point, I'd been streaming for about a year and a bit, maybe. So I just, made a YouTube channel. I think I had a YouTube channel that I'd posted like some...
What were you streaming at that point?
Just variety stuff. A lot of like Souls-like games. A lot of like Dark Souls and just Minecraft and Red Dead and just anything. I was kind of making my way through the typical backlog of gamer games, if you will.
What were your, like, how are you building, what sort of size were you at then? Like, how are you getting people in?
I went like 0 viewers to 75. No, I went from 0 to like 100 viewers, having never done anything else except stream. Wasn't posting on TikTok, wasn't active on Twitter, didn't have a YouTube channel, nothing. I just purely streamed. I don't even know how I did it, but I went.
Do you think that was good timing because you were maybe slightly pre-boom of Twitch? Yeah,
I think
like
I was.
Streaming
I think I was
like
very.
Everyone wants to be a streamer.
Yeah, I think I was it was a good time because everyone was at home, and I was also very tactical with my categories, like super tactical.
Okay.
Like I had a spreadsheet that was like, live channels versus viewership and. I would kind of hunt down these games like that had like, let's say like the first person in the category had like 300 viewers, but the next person had 5, and I would be like, is this a good game? It is a good game. Will I enjoy it? Sure. Let's play it. And I would play that. And then like what you would see is like big person would end and then people would want to keep watching that game and then kind of spill into your stream, and that's kind of the only like method of growth I did for like a whole year. But I ended up.
Do you think that's still a viable strategy?
No, God, no! Don't do that. Don't do that. No. If you're listening, it's phenomenal. Look, it's not a bad strategy. It's better than just
I've seen the videos.
It's better than just hopping in the most congested category on Twitch and going live and hoping for the best. I think there's some method to the madness, but I think to employ it as a sole means of your kind of growth method now, no way. It won't work. I don't think. But yeah, then I kind of so I made this video that I really wanted to watch myself, right? And I just kind of I called it "How to Actually Grow on Twitch 2021," and made this awful thumbnail, like just the worst thumbnail.
It's the one that's still there,
it's still
isn't
there.
it?
I just don't want to change it because it's still getting views. So I made this awful thumbnail in Photoshop and put out the video. I think it did like 50 views in a week, and I just was like, cool. That was a success. I like that. And then about 2 weeks later, like my phone just like bzz, 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 like new comment on this video, new comment on this video, new subscriber, new subscriber, new subscriber. And I think in a week it did like 100,000 views. And I was like,
how many did you have anyone subscribe?
I think I had like 50 or 60 subscribers at this point. Just stream people who like subscribed for the whatever gaming highlight I had posted, because I posted like a couple of those highlighty videos. And I was like, holy shit. And then within like a week or 2 weeks, I think I hit the path or the YouTube partner requirements. And I was like, what the heck? Like, there's clearly a demand for this. And I was like, you know what? Like, I have a load of other stuff I could talk about, you know? So I made another video, and then weekly, and it's literally been weekly since. And that video to this day, like the original video, is still getting like 1,000 views every 24 hours or something.
Mate, it's at the top. It's at the top.
Yeah, if you type how to grow on Twitch,
yeah,
it's the
your
first
little
video that
purple
comes
thumbnail.
up. So
Don't do this, or so I can't remember what it says.
yeah,
on the thumbnail.
don't do this, and then networking has a scratch out through it, and like yeah, but you know, and then what I did was I was a bit cheeky. Like at the end of 2021, I just edited the title to say 2022 because it's the same information. Like none of it was time sensitive. I do think I'm going to remake it for 2023. I don't think I could keep going, but yeah, you know, now, you know, almost 2 years later now. Like my YouTube has overtaken my Twitch. It's bigger now, and I'm, you know, the YouTube has become a thing, and I've been working with sponsors there, and it's something I actually really love doing. And you know, I like the idea that you know, it can evolve into more stuff, because I mean, I don't think there's only so many videos you can make that's like how to talk to chat or how to you know, market correctly. Like you can only make so many of those videos before you start repeating yourself. And you know, now I'm kind of moving into like these experiments that I've been doing, and these bigger videos, especially like I did one where, you know, I started a Twitch channel from scratch with all the same equipment that I have now, and then I didn't really say anything and blah blah blah. And then I did the same. I streamed like 2 games, like Fortnite and Dark Souls, and then I did another stream where I like rebranded the channel and made it really cool and showed off the difference in your stream if you like put that effort in and try to talk more and kind of do all your branding, and the difference in like what one stream would look like in terms of viewership on just one stream was like crazy. It was like, you know, you went from averaging like 0 to 1 viewer to like 9 viewers in one stream, which was technically your first stream. So doing experiments like that and kind of showing what can work and what doesn't work, and yeah, that's kind of stuff I like doing. Cool. Like these kind of bigger experiments. And
so you're basically taking like what traditionally you would have done as an education video, sat in front of your computer doing do this. Now you're like saying, well, like almost trying what you're saying in a kind of slightly different way to, I guess, better storytelling. But I know what you mean though, because I see other people do that in other niches, and it is really cool to watch. Like it's really engaging. Because you like want to know the outcome.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know, and like they're bigger projects, and I think like, you know, so since kind of 2020, I was doing content full time, and I did it full time for like almost 2 years, and I, you know, I've recently stepped back. Like I ended up going back to kind of a day job, or traditional day job rather. And it wasn't necessarily because of like I had to from like a kind of financial standpoint or anything like that. It was just, you know, I think when you're a channel, like I'm not a massive YouTube channel, I'm not a massive Twitch streamer, but so to kind of make it a full-time thing at that size, it requires like so much work, like so much time and effort. And, you know, not that I wasn't willing to put that in, and not that, you know, everyone has to put that in at some point, like, you know, you got to grind or whatever. But it's like, you know, I kind of didn't want currently to have all my time and stress consumed with like, holy shit, I have to get a video out next week and next time because there's a sponsor on it, blah blah. And I didn't want to be relying on that, because I started to feel like I was making videos or I was streaming not because I had something cool to say that day or I had a good video idea necessarily. I'm doing it because I had to, you know. And I wanted to kind of have that freedom to like pull back and like maybe I miss a week of uploads because I'm spending a week filming a video as opposed to spending 2 hours filming a video. And I wanted to kind of put out more higher quality stuff, and then maybe revisit the full-time thing maybe in a year or two when hopefully stuff is bigger and you don't have to stress about it as much.
You're saying basically from what my understanding is that having a channel that size in this niche, there is enough sponsors to basically pay for videos to support you financially, but because the channel isn't big enough, you have to do quite a high volume of videos to like the opportunities are there, but like there isn't the channel's not big enough for you to basically just have one that pays basically for the whole month.
Yeah, well,
like one video, like some of the bigger people do.
So like for example, the way it would kind of work for me, a channel my size, is I had like I do one video a week, okay, and still do, even though I'm working full time now. I still pretty much put out a video a week. But for me, it was kind of like, okay, so that's 4 videos a month. So every single one of those videos I would take, a sponsor for. And I've worked with some amazing brands and some amazing companies, and they've always been very great to work with. But, a lot of that is, a lot of companies, especially with smaller YouTubers, they want to lock you in. I mean, I'm bigger ones as well. They kind of want to lock you into, say, like a longer term commitment, as opposed to just like, oh, let's do one video together. Sometimes you get that, or you'll do one video, one-off job. But a lot of the times you'll kind of enter into a deal, like let's say a 4 or 5 month long deal where you'll do one video a month. So I had a few of those, and that's fantastic because it means that you have security there.
Yeah.
You're not worrying about the sub count this month if it's Twitch, or you're not worried about, oh, it didn't get many bits or whatever. You have a guaranteed income. So even if the video flops, you've got like X amount there. So, but because of that, this schedule for filming sometimes was like, okay, I have to get one video out this week because, and I hope this doesn't sound like I'm complaining. I was very, very lucky to work with a lot of the brands I work with, and it's fantastic. And I still do work with quite a few of them, but because you kind of have to get a video out for one sponsor at 1 week so that you can get your video for the next week filmed and the ad placement in for the next week, you can't really sometimes say like, oh, I've got this really big idea where let's say I want to start a new Twitch account and get it to affiliate in a week, because that takes a whole week to film then, and it takes hours to stream. So that you can't, necessarily get your one video out that you wanted and then still film the one for next week and keep up to date with your commitments. So for me, it was kind of like, right, I'm staying, like I'd be working on stream stuff during the day, and then I'd stream, and then I'd record a video, or I'd research a video, and next thing it's 3 a.m. and I'm crawling into bed. Like, I was kind of going, okay, if I pulled back from this for a little while, I could do some much higher effort stuff and not be worried about like, oh God, I have to get this video out so I hit this sponsor requirements, that I get my paycheck and I can pay my rent. Like if I had just another way to just, look after that stuff for a while, I can make the videos that I want to watch and that I want to see, these bigger ideas, and they'll do better because they're better. It's better content. Like, it's Twitch, or so YouTube isn't all about feeding the algorithm what exactly it wants. It's also, the content has to be good too, right? So if I could put more effort into the content and dial it back a little bit, and maybe, not have to work with sponsors all the time, and just when the cool one arises, I can put out some better stuff, and hopefully the channel grows more, it goes bigger, kind of off the back of better, higher effort content that takes me a little bit longer to make, maybe.
So you have gone into a part-time or a full-time?
I'm in a full-time job, yeah, but I work. It's great. Like I work for a gaming company.
What is it? Sorry.
So I work for a gaming company, like a AAA studio.
Cool.
That I won't say which one, but I'm a social media manager and like a content guy there. So I just like do socials and like write tweets and come up with strategies and that kind of stuff. And I actually got the job because of my Twitch channel and YouTube channel. Like that was like my CV.
Oh yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Like they were like, so what kind of socials have you managed? I was like, my own. And they were like, oh, okay, this is cool.
Yeah. Do you know? It's so funny you said that, because I interviewed someone last night, Tony Cam Brown, her name is, and she said all of the opportunities and corporate work or side jobs that she has got has not been from anything on her CV. It's been from her stuff that she's done on the side, because that like shows that like, oh, you are passionate about that. You don't just do it for the paycheck. You're doing it in your spare time, and you've got grit. You put in the ridiculous hours, and actually, like, they can see that you genuinely actually like doing it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be spending your evenings doing it if you didn't
exactly
enjoy it. And actually, like, I was like that just resonated with me so much. Like, because if I was a hiring manager and I had to employ someone in social media, and you got one person, like, people are everyone has the same CV these days.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like not really, but like kind of like if I see someone that's like got 300,000 on TikTok or 10,000+ on YouTube, I'm like, they actually know their shit. Like they are like they're not just doing it for a job. They're not just like milking a huge account that already exists because they're at a corporate brand that basically just farms views because it's Tommy Hilfiger or something. Like this person's actually like grown their account because they've been creative within their niche or what.
Like when I worked in advertising, I work with these big brands, like global brands, and it's like, you know, they're giving you a budget, and like you're writing tweets or making content for them and putting it out, but then the team downstairs is putting like $5,000 behind every video that's put out, like, and putting like paid spend behind it. So it's like, we got 200,000 views, but you got 200,000 views, but you paid for those views, like, you know. And it's like the only industry where it's okay to pay for your views, essentially, because you're not paying for views, you're paying for your impressions, right? So it's all good. But you know, like, you're right. Like if I was hiring somebody right now, I would absolutely like take the 18, 19-year-old kid who has a million, like that 300,000 followers on TikTok, or started a YouTube channel themselves and marketed it themselves. I would take them over the person with the bachelor's degree in marketing or whatever, or I'm sure you can do a degree in social media management these days. I absolutely take that, you know, because they did it firstly, they did it on their own. They figured it out. And like that you said, it means you're genuinely passionate about it, you know? Because like, I feel like to a degree, like if you set out to be a content creator of any, I would say if you can grow yourself as a content creator, even into a couple of hundred followers on, say, Twitch or YouTube, right? That means you have taken the time to learn, you know, in some way, shape, or form, like video editing, audio production, like cinematography, lighting, you know, marketing, social media management, all these things that you are like people don't realize, like, you're a multi-skilled person. You're an asset to any business, you know? Like I've had like a couple of, like, when I was looking for a job, I was, you know, before I got my current job, I was throwing out my CV, and like I was going through my CV, and it was kind of like past work experience, and I was taking off half these agencies I worked in, and I was putting in like, grew a Twitch channel to X amount of time, like worked with these brands, monetized it, brought it to a point that I could, like, you know, that I was having people approach me, and worked with this person, and it was all like my own stuff, because I was kind of like, this is relevant. Like, they don't care what college I went to necessarily, you know?
Well, it just stands out so much more. Like if you just corporate company, social media executive, or social media manager, social media manager, social media manager, social media manager. But then you got, I actually run a YouTube channel where I do streaming education, blah blah blah, and is like I have 10,000 followers. Like, I'm like, that just is like, that's different. That's different, because I just don't think most of the people in the social media game, in social media corporate world, actually run their own accounts.
No, God no. But brands are getting a bit more loose with it now, which I like. Like,
they are, definitely.
Like, what was it? That company, is it Slim Jims? Like, they're like beef jerky or something. Like, they just hired some, like, they're like they've been around for donkey's years, like, and they just hired some kid like a couple of months ago that was just like tweeting like from the Slim Jims account that was just like, like this if you're down bad on Maine or something, like, you know, like just like this real like crazy stuff, and like just absolutely, but like it went completely fucking viral, you know, like, and everyone was like, there was tweet threads being like, who wants to get in a Discord call and just like watch the Slim Jims account tweet, like it was so good, and just flaming people and like being trolly, and like, this is from a corporate account with millions, like hundreds of thousands of followers, and they probably grew hundreds of thousands of followers more, because companies are willing to take those risks now. The days of the clean cut corporate life, I think, are on the way out, and you know, people are, you know, you always hear this word thrown around in advertising and marketing, which is disruptive, you know. You get this all the time. These big brands have come into you, and they're like, we want to shake things up, and
disruptive.
Like, let's be disruptive and blah blah blah, and let's like, you know, challenge social norms and all this stuff. And you're like, that's awesome. Let's do it. And you come to put together like a really good brief and let's do these things and blah, blah, blah. And then you hand it to them. They're like, okay, we could do that. That's good. Or we could, get this Instagram influencer to post a few stories for us. And you're like, whatever. But I feel like some brands now are actually doing shit that is disruptive. Like that Slim Jims thing, that's disruptive, right?
Yeah. Well, I think they've realized that in order to do really well on social media now, you need to have some level of authenticity / rawness / not just so clean, polished corporate bullshit, because nobody fucking wants to watch that.
No.
Nobody wants to consume content that's polished like that, because as soon as you see a brand on it, you're like, this isn't a real person. This is just like within the corporate branding guidelines, and it's actually like interesting to see some like Ryanair is the perfect example, because Ryanair are great with like on TikTok with doing all the memes and stuff, and like they're killing it. And I think when you had a few brands that have done stuff like that on TikTok, because a lot of brands have got no idea what to do on TikTok. Like, how do we extend our brand onto TikTok? Like I don't think they know how to how do we keep it in line with our branding, but it be this different kind of personality of branding. And I think some leaders, some disruptors in the space have like kind of shown the way and gone, and other brands have gone, oh wait, like they are just tweeting just random shit that is like completely not like it's definitely not gone through had to go through a team to approve it. It's just someone doing it off the cuff.
And that's
like,
what it should be. Like, and like I think it's so, but I think what a lot of brands have to ask themselves is like, I think a lot of brands, a lot of companies got to sit down and have a long, hard look at themselves and reevaluate some stuff. Like, I'd always get this when I worked in that industry. People being like, oh, we really got to care about our tribe. Like the people who hear this word. There's all these words thrown around marketing agencies.
Tribe,
like a tribe, and I'm like, you do like, and they were kind of saying like, our people engage with us, like they relate to our brand, and they follow us, and I'm like, no, they don't. No one gives a shit about you. You know what I mean? Like you really, nobody gives a shit really. Whether or not they're not, you're not like a band. No one will. You don't have like fans. You got people who fuck with your product, but you don't have fans, and I think there's consumers and there's fans, and I think that like a lot of brands now, they're like, we got to be on TikTok because that's where the views are, that's where the money is, but they don't ask themselves, should they? Like I did an interview before I got my current job. I had somebody reach out to me here, and they're like, oh hey, like I heard you're looking for a job, like my company are looking for this person to like take over content and run these strategy for them. And I had a call with them, and they were like there's a word for it. It's like FMCG, maybe. It's like
fast moving consumer goods.
So like snack bars and protein bars and shit like that. And they were like, we want to get on TikTok, and like they literally were like, we want to disrupt the space on TikTok. I was like, no one gives a shit about fast-moving consumer goods on TikTok. You know what I mean?
Fucking chocolate bar.
Exactly. Like, like unless you're going to sit there and do some crazy dance or lip sync whilst holding a Twix, like, no one's giving a shit. And I was just like, no, like this isn't going to be good, because it's not going to get viewed, and they won't blame. They won't say, oh, well, maybe because this is not where our target demographic is.
Yeah, I always think like with companies like that, is it actually worth it? If a chocolate bar company starts or a TikTok account and they create some, let's say they create some good content, they do it well, am I more likely to buy their chocolate? Or probably not. I want the chocolate that I like the chocolate of. I'm not going to go, whoa, which one of these chocolates has the best TikTok account? Maybe not. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. Maybe it's more brand awareness. But at the end of the do I need to be brand awareness for a fucking chocolate bar? I know what chocolates are on the shelf.
Yeah.
So I always question like, what is it? What is their actual? What are some of these fast consumer brands? What's their goal? Like, if they're already an established brand that most of the people know, like, what are they actually trying to achieve?
I don't know. I'm a marketer's wet dream. Like, I'm the most impressionable person in the world. I see a good ad, I'll buy the thing. Like, if it's relevant to me. And like, like you see now a lot of sponsors on YouTube videos that are like, we like this company just gave me this money to fund this video and was like, take it and do what you want. And especially if it's kind of an out there thing, you know, I'm down to check it out. Like, you know, and like you don't realize it as well. Like a lot of the time, like I could say like, oh, everyone like check out this new website. They're, you know, big shout out to insert company here who sponsored this video. It's so cool. You sign up with code xTwoShoes, save 10%. Like you may think like, okay, that's a dope idea. I'm going to go sign up for that company. I can use that product. Or you might forget about it. But there's been plenty of times where like, for example, like Philip DeFranco or someone that I watch every single day that I'm like, you know, I'll hear his ads and because I always listen to Philip DeFranco when I'm in the shower. So I never skip the ad reads. So I always hear the ads and then it will be like, you know, 10 months down the line. And I'm like, oh, I need to make a website for this thing. I'll use Squarespace. Cause I'm like, I've heard Philip DeFranco talk about it and, you know, shout out Squarespace, you know, throw Ben a bone, get some sponsors there. But, you know, like that's, you know, you don't realize, yeah, you're not using his code maybe, but like, yeah, I'm being made aware of it by him or like that. Like, you know, maybe you want to redesign your Twitch or whatever. And you could be like, oh, I heard that xTwoShoes talk about this website where I can do that. Like, yeah, I'm not using the code, but I know about it from him. So it does come in, I think, sometimes. Maybe you just subconsciously, you're like, oh, I know about this thing. Where do I know about it? I think I heard some YouTuber talk about it or something like that. It's happened a few times to me. Even like last night, I downloaded that Headspace app. You know, the meditation one.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I downloaded it about a month ago and paid for it.
I paid for it. It's fucking amazing.
It's good. It's
and
good.
I heard I heard about it in like a Yes Theory video because the dude is like always, he loves meditation. He's always talking about his app, and you know, I was like, cool. Well, didn't think about it at the time. Didn't watch the video and say, yeah, cool, I'll download it. But only when I wanted something like that, I was like, oh, okay, I know about it because of this guy. So
yeah, it's a good app. It's the best one. There's got tons of stuff on there.
Yeah,
to work your way through.
I did some guy read about. He's talking about living in a lighthouse. Last night was like a sleepscape thing, and I was like, I was sitting in bed and I'm like, this is fucking unbelievable.
I think the biggest challenge that brands have got is that influencers are better at creating content than them.
Oh yeah.
Like their in-house marketing teams, like I guess people that do your job, right? And most of the people that are in those teams, like creators, because creators like me and you, just in our spare time doing it, there's no walls.
Yeah,
there's absolutely no walls. Like, so we can just create whatever you want.
There's no feedback loop. There's no approval.
No. You just create, and then you just eventually start creating really good shit. Whereas, like, yeah, in brands you got to create, go full approval. Like, well, I feel like the rate of it's not perfect. Like, you know, like, well, we can't do that out because made a spelling mistake in the caption or some shit like that. Oh, who gives a fuck? Like,
they're afraid to fail. Like, that's what it is. Like, if you look back at your first stream, you know, like look back at your first stream or your first TikTok or your first YouTube video compared to, say, a year, 6 months into doing it, you're going to be like, oh my God. Like, even that video, even the one that blew up for me, like the camera's fucking up here for some reason, and I'm probably, you know, it's like it's right up, it's like there pointing down at me, and I'm sitting like this, and I'm like, yeah. So really use tags on your stream, because tags, like, people don't use them enough, and it really get, you know, and it's awkward, and like I'm like the quality is awful, like, you know, and I just it's bad, but you know, through trial and error and like learning and looking at what worked and what didn't work and looking at the numbers and, okay, well, why did no one click this thumbnail? It's got my face in it. Well, why does it have my face in it? No one knows who I am. I'm not going to click my face. I'm not Mr. Beast, you know? So like get rid of those things and looking at all these things, but brands and companies and some creators are afraid to even put it out in the first place because like it has to be perfect or it has to get 1 million views the first round. It's never going to do that. I mean, sure, it happens, but like you shouldn't, like, you know, stop yourself from creating or stop yourself from putting something out simply because you think it has to be perfect. Like look at someone like Mr. Beast. Look at Mr. Beast's first videos. like the Minecraft, what were they, like Minecraft videos, and they're like,
Yeah, just awkward
yeah,
shit.
he was on YouTube for like 11. It took him like, what was it? It was like 11 years to get 100 subscribers.
Were awful.
Yeah, like it literally took the guy. I think it was 11 years to get 100 subs or 1,000 subs. And
yeah, it was something like that. I saw someone put a stat
and now
like
he's
that
got the
about
most on the
videos.
platform. So, you know, do you think he would have gotten where he is now if he had have been like, okay, no, I need $1 million before I can spend money on a video, you know? So yeah, no, people are afraid to fail. And that's why I always see comments as well in like my videos that are like, I'm going to start streaming next month. You know, I'm going to start next month. I'm getting a new monitor or something. And I'm like, just fucking go live. You got a phone, you got a laptop, throw the webcam on, talk, you know, like just do it. Like the hardest part is clicking go live. And then after that it's all improvement. Like literally sentence to sentence is improvement, you know? So I think people should like limit themselves by like, I'm gonna do it. It's like me when I used to smoke. I used to smoke cigarettes. I'm like, I'm gonna quit next month because like I can't do it this month because I got college exams, so I'm gonna quit after that. Or oh well, it's my birthday, so I'm probably gonna go out. So it's, you know, I'm gonna quit next month, and then I'll do it after summer because I'm going on a trip. Like, you know, you keep making excuses for yourself. You'll never do anything. You know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just like, oh yeah, I'll start next week.
Yeah.
It's like, why don't you just start?
Yeah.
Like, or tomorrow morning, right? Like, why next week? Oh, but because it's a new week, right? It signifies a new.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Or next year, let me start in January.
That's where I am with the gym now. I'm like, no, Monday. Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, let's move on to the big question then. How do you grow on Twitch in 2023?
All right. So the meta, I think the meta's changed.
Yeah.
The current, like, I made a video kind of briefly touching on this. So I was a variety streamer for 2 years, right? Like that was my bread and butter. I just played whatever I was interested in. Didn't really care. At the start, I wanted, like I mentioned, I wanted those good number categories. But then as I kind of grew past kind of 20 viewers, that becomes less of an issue, and you can kind of just play what you want, I feel. But I kind of just play whatever. But I started to think that, like, because when you're a variety streamer, what you start to notice a lot of is like you're in one game and it's booming for you, and it's like, yeah, your views are up and the chat's active and whatever. But then you finish that game and you move on. So, for example, with Dark Souls, I had a load of people coming in who love Dark Souls. Excuse me, and they would help you, whatever. And then the next day, you're like, okay, everyone, I'm playing Zelda or I'm playing, you know, Minecraft. And then the Dark Souls people don't want to watch that. And then the Minecraft and Zelda people don't want to watch Dark Souls. So it's very hard. What I started to notice is a much slower growth. And that, yes, like I would kind of describe myself as more of a personality streamer, if you will, because, you know, I'm not really a gamer. Like I am a gamer, obviously, but I'm not people aren't watching me for my plays, put it that way. So, you know, it's, you kind of, every 5 followers or every 10 followers you get, one might stick around because they just like you and they'll watch you whatever you're playing, and that's amazing. But I decided that I would do a test a couple of months ago where I would, you know, only stick to one game. And this mainly came from my kind of like want to make more short form content, because I hate short form content. I don't watch it. I don't like it.
You don't really do it.
I don't do it. I'm not a TikTok guy. I just don't. I've never really.
Why?
I don't. Okay. My problem with TikTok is that there's no definitive start and end. If I'm sitting there in the morning and I'm like eating my breakfast, and I put on and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna eat my breakfast and have a coffee and start work. I put on a 20-minute YouTube video, and when that 20-minute YouTube video ends, I'm productivity to time. Right? That's me on my. I'm on the clock now. Whereas TikTok has no definitive start and end, and you just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. And yeah, it's entertaining and it's cool, but you just lose your life to it. Like it's nuts. And you know, I just don't get it. I don't speak the language. I don't care to put enough time into it to like find out what's cool and what you should and shouldn't say, and how to identify trends. And like, it's just not really the content that I watch, right? Like I'm a long form guy, but I know that it's just needed especially to grow on Twitch, right? But my whole rationale was, because I was like, you know, I was doing it, making the content, But you know, and I had a couple of clips blow up and all that kind of stuff. And when I say blow up, I'm like, okay, they got over 2,000 views, whatever, or into the 20,000, 40,000 views. But I really think that like to make someone come from TikTok to your Twitch is such a big ask, because it's way harder than coming from a YouTube video to your Twitch. You know, most people, like, you know, you're on your computer, you're watching YouTube, like, oh, that person's cool, you go down and click the Twitch link. But TikTok, it's such a big ask. So what I found is, like, even if they really loved your clip, let's say you had a GTA 5 clip that blows up and you're a variety streamer and it gets 1 million views, and then these people start flooding into your Twitch because they want to see you live, but they get to your Twitch and you're playing Animal Crossing, right? They're not going to stick around because that's not what they signed up for, right? They want to see they want to see the funny GTA 5 clips, right? But nah, you finished that game last week, so you're not playing it anymore. You don't have any plans to go back and play it. So what I wanted to try out to do was, if I stuck to one game on stream, okay, and only created short form content and, you know, off platform content around that one game for like a month or two, how did it affect my numbers, right? So I kind of announced I was going to do this experiment, because that way, like, so if I was playing that one game, people see that TikTok of me playing that one game, they come to stream, I'm playing the same game, that is what they signed up for. So they're less likely, they're more likely to hang out. So I decided I was going to play this game called Escape from Tarkov. I'd kind of been watching a lot of it. It seemed fun. I was really fresh to the game. It seemed like it was, the community was good, and it wasn't something that would have been really, really challenging, like Warzone, where the community is just huge now, and I'm starting way too late, I think. But this Tarkov game is nice and has a good community, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try that. So, you know, announced that I was going to do this experiment, and like first stream, people were stoked to see how it would go, so I held my average, and then like within a week, my viewership was less than half of what I was used to. And everyone was like, I don't care about this game. And that's totally fine. It's not everyone's cup of tea. So that went that way for like 3 weeks. And then I had one TikTok do really well. And now my views are higher than they've ever been. And I'm still playing that same game. And I genuinely feel the meta for growing in Twitch, like if your main objective is growth, let's say, and you want to maybe kind of build views fast, I would probably stick to one game, you know, but I would absolutely make sure that you have a little content cycle for that game outside of Twitch. It's no secret you have to make content outside of Twitch in order to grow, but I would be making YouTube shorts, I'm making TikToks, I'd be making reels daily of that one game that you're streaming, and then go for it. And long form clips if you want as well, like long form YouTube videos. So you will do it very well, you know. But that's kind of the method, I think. Now, like, not to say that you can't grow as a variety streamer. You want to be a variety streamer, absolutely perfect. There's, you know, plenty of variety streamers who started at the same time as me, started later than me, that have tripled my viewership. But that's kind of what I would do. I think if I was starting from day one, that's probably the tactic I want to go. You know, and just for clarification, I'm not saying that you should start streaming straight from Tarkov, or you should just pick one game even if you don't like it very much. Like, the fun has to be there. And you know, you have to enjoy it. And what I like about, you know, the game I'm playing is that, like, you have the VoIP communication, so you can kind of come across people and have these really funny interactions, and they make so you can cut down a 5-minute interaction with someone into just like a 1-minute really funny clip. So it's fantastic for that little it's fantastic for those little, you know, clips and TikToks that you can make from it. But yeah, that's what I would say the growth strategy is currently.
Yeah, I agree. I think the problem with, I don't know, like, I guess the go-to game for a lot of people is let's just say an FPS shooter game, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's super competitive, and I think one of the main issues as someone that's starting out as a streamer is that, like, the creative threshold, as in like the quality, is fucking high.
Yeah.
I made a TikTok the other day saying to people, like, if you started streaming and you just started short form, like, don't expect anything for 6 to 12 months, because that's how long it will take you, if you're consistently pushing out short form, to get anywhere near the quality of the bigger guys and girls. And you're not even probably going to be close to them unless you're a really creative wizard. Let's just say you're a normal person like me and you. Your creativity's all right. Like you're just going to have to work on it and learn and learn and learn. Like you need to hone your editing skills.
Yeah.
And like, because the problem is that like, even if you have a TikTok go viral, like, or somewhat viral, then what? Does that mean you're good at short form? No, it doesn't. It just means that you've just kind of like, you've kind of created something that unintentionally ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
But you don't even know what boxes you need to tick because you're just still learning and stuff. And like, when you look at like the top TikTokers and the top short form content people in these FPS games, like that is who you are indirectly competing with.
Yeah.
Is someone going to go and watch your Twitch over their Twitch based off the clips that you're producing? Like, you can bet if you've got 100 people, you know that 90% of them are going over to this other person. You might go, yeah, well, they might resonate with the smaller person's personality and that and so on. But actually, even the top people, they have good personalities as well.
That's why at the top.
At the top. Like, that's why they're at the top. And it's like, how... I'm like, if you really want to grow on Twitch, you need to put... I just tweeted this the other day, like, you need to be putting in equally as much time learning as you are creating.
Oh, yeah.
That's creating content and creating streaming content. Like, you equally need to be putting in 5, 6, 7, 10 hours a week into watching YouTube videos on how to be a better editor.
1,000 hours.
Like watching other people's top TikTokers within your niche. Like, okay, like, this is how they edit this video. This is their hook. This is like their pacing, like their tone. These are their ideas. Like, how can I implement that? Like, you have to be like literally a student of the game. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, and then they realize it, and they don't want to put that sort of work. That it's like you're going back to school, basically.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to.
But a lot of people, yeah. But I mean, it's like if it was school. Like, I went to school 5 days a week for most of my fucking life, right? And you know, I didn't learn a lot because I wasn't willing to. So like, a lot of people can say, yeah, well, I stream 5 days a week. It doesn't mean, you know, you have to want to get better. Yeah. Like, no one.
But what have you learned? You know,
like, I could show up to my day job and do the bare minimum. And then, you know, when I ask for a pay rise at the end of the year and I don't get it, I can't be surprised because I'm not trying, right? Yeah. Similarly, like, if you are just live on Twitch or, you know, making a YouTube video, but like, and you can tick that box, say, yeah, I made the YouTube video, but was it good? Was it engaging? Would you watch it? Like, I people always say, like, oh, I can't watch myself back. Like, watch your own content. If you can't watch it, how do you expect anyone else to? Like, it takes 1,000 hours before you can know what's what, right? You need to stream for 1,000 hours before you can understand who you are. Because for those first 1,000 hours, you're going to replicate all the people that you just watch, right? And similarly for YouTube, spend 1,000 hours doing it. Like, it's like, you know, learning an instrument. They tell you, like, yeah, you got to play it for 1,000 hours, then you'll be good at it, you know? And I think that's for everything. I think there's actually an achievement on Twitch for streaming for 1,000 hours. But that 1,000 hours isn't just live. That's 1,000 hours of, you know, learning, like, editing, content, learning about lighting, learning about how cameras work, learning like how to make little designs on Canva or Photoshop or something like that. Like that 1,000 hours is spread across content. Like, like, no one, I feel like, should call themselves a Twitch streamer anymore, because you're not a Twitch streamer. No. You're a multi-platformer, right? It's like so. It's wild, and like, I see the comments all the time, and especially when I do like stream review videos, where like I ask people to send me their streams and I like have a look and I give my opinion on, you know, what they could maybe do better. And a lot of the time I get messages like, I've been streaming for 3 years and I stream 5 days a week for 6 hours and I haven't grown, and like, fuck this. And, you know, there's always a point, there's always a finger point moment. It's this streamer or it's these people taking my views or whoever, or Twitch is too saturated, I'm going to YouTube. But the reality is, if you can't do it on YouTube, if you can't do it on Twitch, it's going to be even harder to do it on YouTube. And, you know, you kind of see these ideas that nobody wants to look inward. Nobody wants to think like, shit, like, if I've been doing same thing for every day for 3 years and I've seen no results, like is it me? You know? And like, I think that I've seen a lot of people in the space be like, you just can't do it. Some people just aren't cut out to be content creators, but I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't. I think with enough willpower and enough kind of belief, you can learn anything. You know, like I think that things like, you know, I mean, obviously certain things you can't learn. I know that if I wanted to learn how to be a quantum physicist, I wouldn't be able to learn how, but because I don't have that part of my brain. But I think that a lot of people can get more confident if they, with the right attitude, they can get better at telling stories. They can get, you know, better at editing. Like, you know, these are all skills you can learn, but you just have to want to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
I think, yeah, you're right. You don't need to be a genius to create good videos.
No.
You don't need that natural, like, kind of genius intelligence. Like, I think one of the biggest things you need is a great level of self-awareness.
yes.
To recognize, because the fact that streaming, you have to be so good at so many different things, and I think what people struggle with is that self-awareness piece of recognizing what they're not good at or where they're going wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like for someone to say, well, I've been streaming for 2 or 3 years and I can't grow, like why is that? Like, I'm thinking, fuck me, can you not work that out yourself? Like, do you not have like the mental capacity to sit down like one day and go, right, like, why am I not growing?
Yeah.
And if it's taken you 2 years and you've not even thought about that, then do you know what? Don't bother with streaming, because like maybe you can develop that mindset with a bit of coaching and guidance, right? But like, if you can't get to a point where you're like able to really be self-critical of your own content, because you have to be, otherwise you're not going to get really that much better, then you just got not much chance. Like, people, I'm talking about people that really don't have that natural like knack for, you know, like some people, they just turn on the stream and everybody likes them, right? They're the person in the pub that everybody likes. There are those people, okay, they ain't got much to work on because they can just be themselves. But 90% of most streamers are just like, they're just normal people, right? Right. Everyone's unique in their own way. Yeah, cool. Yeah. But in reality, not everyone's as unique as everybody. Like, we all kind of fit on that bell curve in some sense, and we are all kind of like each other.
Yeah.
So it's like, for those people, like, how do those people really stand out or find what they are really fucking good at and just like go in on that? Like you said, anyone can create content. Anyone could probably get good. It's just, do they have the patience and self-awareness to go and find what is like their
but I think
that can make their superpower, right, or whatever.
But I think that comes down to the 1,000-hour thing. You know, like, if you spend, like, you'll figure that out. Like, there's no formula like where you can kind of throw on a guided meditation and unlock it in you. You know, but I think you're right. Like, there is people, like, similarly. I keep relating back to like instruments because I know that. It's kind of what I like to do, and I've hung around with a lot of people, like a lot of musicians. Like, there's some people who, like, I have a friend who, like, we went on a trip to Amsterdam, and there's a piano in our Airbnb, and he taught himself piano overnight. And like, he's just crazy talented. You can pick up anything and be good at it, like if it's a musical instrument. Whereas like I have an ability, but I can't. Like, it would take me 1,000 hours to learn the piano, right? So.
Yeah.
Some people can just come on Twitch and just be on and understand it and have a knack, and they're likable people. Like some people are just genuinely more likable than other people straight away, and they know. And the thing is, like, they know they're likable and they know how to channel that. Like, you know, like, without trying to sound vain, I know I can make people laugh if I'm doing something. I do whatever. Like, I know I can do that. That's a skill I have, and there's nothing wrong with recognizing your skills. But I also have to try sometimes really, really hard to do other things that other people find effortless in content, right? So like there is this kind of different things, but I think that you only figure out that stuff by doing it, and doing it for a long time. Like that, you can't like, yeah, sure, you could probably sit down and say, yeah, okay, I'm gonna be I actually like fucking, I don't know, knitting. So I'm gonna do like a knitting stream. I'm gonna have 2 cameras, I'm gonna have one on my face, one on my knitting, and I'm going to come up with all these ideas. And you could plan all that out and execute it. But then after a couple of streams, you might realize you don't like that anymore. Like, look at all the big streamers in the world. They started out somewhere completely different from where they are now. You know, like XQC started out playing Overwatch. Now he's a variety streamer. Like, I started out playing variety games. Now I'm playing one game. Like, Ludwig started out gaming. Now he's barely ever plays games, right? Like, it's all changes all the time. And you need to be adaptive. And I think that's the biggest skill you can learn is be adaptive, or adaptable, which is the right word. I don't know. Adaptable.
Yeah. Adaptable, I think. Yeah. I just feel that, like, some small streamers they don't want to hear the advice. Like, they just
no.
Do you know what? I spent a good time sitting on the Reddit small streamer subreddits, and I soon grew fairly frustrated when I was trying to help people and tell them what they needed to do, and they need to really do short form, and you stick to one game and try and figure out a niche within that one game in terms of content, like become known for something. Like, that's really how you stand out. Like, and all you get is just fucking pushback from other people that have we need joining Discord communities, like all that, like, and no, what do you know? Fuck you. Like, I'm like, but like, I'm like, people just don't want to listen. Like, why don't you want to listen? It's like there's this small streamer bubble. They're all just feeding each other horse shit. Like, and these like grow communities, networking thing, that I just hate. I really hate, because I made a point the other day on my video that I did, like, about problem. It does work for some people, but the biggest problem with it is it doesn't scale.
No.
And when I thought about this, when I kind of made this idea in my head, I was like, this is such a good point to just shut those people up, because when you put 1,000 hours into TikTok, right, you will come out on the other side probably creating fairly decent content now, and you're going to get more views, your account's going to grow, and you're going to scale, potentially exponentially. Like, that's the potential. However, if you're just engaging in Discord communities and you're doing this like grow like shit, like if you put 1,000 hours in there, are you now able to exponentially grow? Because you're still, if you're putting 10 hours a week into engaging in Discord communities, if you've already done it for 1,000 hours, have you suddenly now got actual wizardry skill set to basically bring over every single person in a Discord community over to your Twitch channel? No, you haven't. It just doesn't scale. And so it's like, if you're choosing to do that over create short form, which a lot of small streamers are, because it's easier, then I'm like, at some point that is going to stop working for you, and you're going to have to go to short form. So I'm like, do you know what? Just fuck that off at the start, and just accept that you're going to have 6 months of fuck all growth and really work on your short form. Because in the long run, people just fail to look at the long-term stuff. They want results now. They want affiliate in a month. And then they get affiliate, and then they realize that these people that are supporting them grow have fucked off. And then they're like, why am I not growing anymore? I'm like, well, where's your content? Oh, no content. Well, they produce content. I'm like, your content is, honestly, it's shit. I'm sorry. Like, it's just way below par.
Yeah.
And you need to accept that. Like, like you said before, when you look at your old content, look at my old content, I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking hell, that's so shit. I'm like, I can't even believe I actually thought this was good at the time. Like,
but the thing is,
and I'm like, everyone.
Yeah, like, the thing is, like, with these, a lot of these streamer groups, right? Like, they're it's a rush to affiliate. Like, it's basically like a pump and dump scheme for streamers, right? Like, they blow it up and whatever, and then the minute they get you your affiliate, they all fuck off. And but people have this idea that, like, they need affiliate. People think that, like, if I'm a Twitch affiliate, I'm gonna get 1,000 subs the day I get a Twitch affiliate. But they realize that, hang on, you've spent absolutely no time trying to foster viewership. You gained affiliate because one of your views was your phone, the other was your cousin, and the other was, somebody in one of these support things. Yeah, you got your 3 views, you streamed your 7 days, you got your 50 followers off from these groups. And then they just kind of think that once that happens, some magic, like, cog will turn, and all of a sudden people will start flocking in. you know. And the problem being, and I think like we have to remember that the majority of streamers, like we're talking like now, like, oh, like how can people not know, and how come people don't look inwards, is because unfortunately the majority of Twitch is built up of people with under 10 viewers. All right, like the majority of streamers have under that amount, and unfortunately there's a lot of the attitude, which like inherently there's nothing wrong with, oh, keep crushing it, like you're doing great, like you're, you know, whatever. Like if I had a kid and my kid wanted to play football, my kid could be the worst football player in the world, however I'm going to cheer him on and tell him he's, you know, Ronaldo, right? Like or her or whoever, you know. I would, because yeah, you want to support people, and this is the problem, that a lot of these groups are just full of people who are like, just keep going and your time will come, and nobody wants to offer anyone like, hey, like your stream was, I'm not saying you should turn into somebody you're shit, but you know, they can say like, oh, your stream was a bit like, your mic was bad, or you didn't really talk for like the first hour, or you know, offering feedback. There's no feedback groups. There's just all this echo chamber of people telling each other that like, you're gonna get there, just keep pushing and keep pushing. And even worse than that, a lot of these groups prey on people with that mentality, because they know people will do anything they can to get where they want to be, which is, you know, doing this for a living. And I think a lot of people don't want to do this for a living, but think they do, right? Because it's a fucking hard, like it's so hard, and it's 5% is playing games. If you think that you're going to just play games all day, it's 5% of it.
It's just playing games there, isn't it? Just playing games,
yeah. But like
comments on TikTok all the time.
Yeah. So, but like, you know, you have all these groups that are like, you know, predatory in the sense that they just either want to take people's money, like, oh yeah, like I'll get you this. Like I had an email the other day of a guy who had paid. He was paying like $360 a week for some guy to get him to affiliate, like to view bottom the 3 viewers. $360.
Fucking hell! What?
Yeah, and then the guy was, because I made a video about these groups and like why they're scams, and they're 90% of the time they're peer.
Oh, they're a pay affiliate.
Yeah,
they're a paid some group.
Well, even these like support groups, 90% of the time they're like pyramid schemes. They're ran by one streamer at the top who's like promising you raids and all this shit or whatever. So I made a video, and at the end of the video I was like, look, if you think you're being scammed, or you think you're in one of these groups and you're not sure if it's fishy, email me and I'll take a look at it. This kid was like, hey, you know, this guy, I've been paying him like for weeks to get me. It took him like a month to get me affiliate, and I've been paying him like this much money, and now he wants to get me partner, but he said I'm gonna have to pay him like this, like keep paying him.
What a scumbag.
Yeah, and this guy was like, I've already paid him a lot, so I told him I couldn't, and he said, oh look, if we just do €50 a week, I'll get you to affiliate, but this could take a couple of months. And like, you know, and in my, I was like, I don't blame this kid.
Is that happening a lot?
This is what I said. He was like, yeah, I've been approached a lot of times. And I was like, you know, like, and straight away people would go, what the hell? Who would pay that much money, you know, to someone for this? But like, you have to understand that people are blinded by just want to be at the top, and people start promising them like, I got this person, like they've 2,000 views now and they live in LA and they have all these, you know, people get promised
the naivety, isn't it?
Yeah, and people do just throw money at the problem sometimes. And, you know, when most, like, it's always solvable for free, but, you know, you feel bad, like my heart breaks for these people that like just desperately want to do it, but just trying to take every shortcut under the sun, which ultimately ends in them, you know, having been taken advantage of a lot of the time, you know. So it's sad.
I didn't actually realise that was happening that much. I know the follow groups, but I didn't know that like there are actually people that are preying on people that are kind of, I guess, chasing what they think is their dream, and obviously they'll do anything for it. And if they've got money in the bank, then that will obviously that would, they think, help them.
I mean, there's so much of it. You know, like there was that like, guy
just on Discord.
This is on Discord, but it's on Twitch as well. Like, you know, there's this guy, like, without naming names, was a creator, and I think he's since either left Twitch or he's gone off the platform and come back on different names. But he was running one of these Discord groups, you know, and basically he would bring people in, and there was requirements, right? So you had to like watch something like, you know, 50 hours of his stream. And once you've done that, you were like a member and you're eligible for him to raid you. And this guy's a Twitch partner. And you also had to recruit other people to the Discord. So basically, you know, these were all doing a little support for support with each other, but he was the one.
It's a pyramid. It's
yeah, so he, and then he was like, oh, guys, if we get like, if everyone recruits like X amount of people this week, we'll do like a Stream Deck giveaway. And then people weren't getting giveaways. He was claiming things were lost in the post. And there was a lot of stuff going on about it. But like, it was all just this, like, and there was like hundreds of people in this Discord. This guy had like hundreds of viewers, and obviously, you know, these new viewers want to gift him the sub so they get his attention. So their name is in his mind when he's picking the next person to raid, and he was like just milking cash off these people who just wanted to be seen, you know. And there's so much of it. Honestly, there's so much of it going on. It's horrible, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I actually never really knew it was happening that much, but that kind of, to be fair, I maybe you feel the same, is that inside me that makes me want to try and have some sort of impact on that.
That's why, like,
I'm trying to, like, I'm really trying to just reach to smaller streamers, like, with the content that I want to produce. Almost like, I'm not here to tell you about fucking an OBS plugin, right? And there's nothing wrong with this content. I'm not here to tell you how to do this chat box. Like, I'm like here to really make you think about like what you're doing, like a strategy, a game plan, like, because doing all this fancy shit on your stream isn't going to change your personality, your, like, the plan of the stream, your content. Like, you it's not. But I feel like, and I said this the other day, is that there's such an overwhelming amount of shit that you could be doing as a streamer, like, in your spare time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like something on your Stream Deck, something in OBS, like some cool new tech, some Twitch stuff. Like, there's all these integrations. I think as a small streamer, you get lost. You get absolutely lost because there are so many videos on all this sorts of shit. And actually, like, when you step back and you think, okay, I've just spent 5 hours, and I've done it myself. I hold my hand up as well. I've just spent 5 hours trying to fucking do this stupid little plugin thing for my OBS that, when I look at it at the end, I'm like, that's pretty cool, and my stream will love this. But then when I think about it, was that worth 5 hours of my time?
When I could have edited 4 TikToks in that time. Could
I have spent 5 hours doing something else, which actually probably is going to give me more value, both short term and long term? Yes, and I think that accumulates into every week. Just like, it's almost like streamers are just looking for that next little thing that they can do, but they're actually just losing sight of the bigger picture. I'm really trying to preach that to people.
Like, I'm a sucker
get
for
it in their heads.
I love it. Like, you know, I'll see something. I'll be watching a stream and somebody will like have like a cool little animation that pops up that like shows what they're listening to, and I'm like, I need it. That's the coolest thing in the world.
But you're at a point where, like I said, it's not like you can't do this shit, but you're at a point where you can afford to be doing shit like that, and you've brought like your, I would say, what the core skills are up to a point where they are kind of good enough.
Yeah,
like,
I think the point I kind of wanted to make though is like, I know what you're saying. There's so much that, and you can get lost with it, and you don't want someone to come to your stream and it be like a fucking sensory overload of, you know, effects and crazy stuff and camera zooms and punches in and whatever. And like, there's nothing wrong with it, but that stuff isn't a fix to a lack of other care, right? So like, if you have a voice and you're using it and you're telling a story and whatever, these are all tools that help with that, right? And they amplify that to a degree, but they're not a replacement for it, you know? Like, realistically, like, that kind of cool stuff on people's streams. So some people have really amazing streams and it's great, but at the end of the day, your audience don't really give a shit. It's not going to be the deciding factor on whether or not they subscribe to you, right? Like, look at XQC, the most bland stream on Twitch, but it's the biggest stream on Twitch, okay? Like, he doesn't have all these crazy, like, 3D chat boxes and all that stuff. And, like, if he had, that would probably be dope as well. But people watch him because he's XQC. They don't watch him because he's, you know, the coolest stream, you know? So they work hand in hand. There has to be one and the other. It can't be one without the other.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think it's finding a balance of
Yeah,
how much time you put into
for
them.
sure.
Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
say,
yeah.
okay, well, like the improving of the stream itself and the production of the stream, I would say probably should be something that grows over time, but shouldn't be a real focus. Like
Yes.
it should just be your focus should be like just kind of like we discussed earlier, like I don't know, building your confidence, being able to tell good stories. I don't know, being relatable, being entertaining, being kind of giddy, like a bit silly, emphasizing, like working all that, like working on your streaming persona and your personality. But that's quite difficult because, like we said before, you got to be self-aware to do that sort of shit. You got to recognize, like in real life, I'm this. On stream, I need to be this
Yeah.
because, like, and that's when it gets to a bit more higher level. I would say more higher level thinking from a streamer. Like,
Would you say you're the same on stream as you are off stream?
I am, and that's the problem. That's why I have. That's the problem that I recognized after I stopped streaming and after I watched like my VODs back and realized that like I'm just not. I don't have a what I feel like is a personality that uh, not a typical stream personality, but one of which has more chance for growth. I'm more of a chill streamer, and the way I would interact with people and say hello to people and react to stuff would be fairly low key. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. That's how I am in real life. But unfortunately, a personality like that has less chance of being successful on Twitch.
Do you think so?
Not to say that you can't be. I think so. Yeah.
I mean,
I think
sorry, go ahead.
I'm not saying that like you can't have success. I think someone that is like a little bit kind of dialed up, not annoying, not too hyper, but like you, Dan, to be honest. You're like I think probably fairly similar to me in your approach, but your dial is a little bit up than me. I'm not willing to put the dial up. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And it's like finding that balance of like this is who you are in real life and what is your stream persona. Okay, it's an extension of you, but can you make some tweaks that probably will increase the chances of people liking you on stream that maybe you wouldn't be like around your friends at the pub, but on stream you can just you can tone a few different things up in the way that you interact in personality, and I think that then would helps you become more likable and stuff like. And I think I realized that and yeah, I'm just a bit miserable on stream.
Obviously, I've lurked in your stream a good bit, and like I'm a massive lurker on everyone's stream. I'm never really in the chat, but like it's funny because like I'm what I would consider a high energy guy. You know, I'm loud. I kind of yell, and you know I like to be. That's just my personality, but I'm like that 24/7. You know, obviously not when I'm asleep, and you know I'm not like that now because it's midnight and try not to wake my girlfriend, but you know I'm pretty much one for one on stream and off stream. Maybe I let it out a little bit more on stream because it's an outlet for me and it's a release, but I find that like all the streamers I watch aren't like me. I don't like watching loud energetic people because it's too much, right? Like my mind runs 1,000 miles a minute, and I like watching camera people. Like one of the biggest, like one of the streamers I watch is this guy called Toast who plays Tarkov, and he's like this 60-year-old man, and he's just like, hey, okay guys, yeah, he's like Australian. He's like, yeah, we're gonna go in here and we're just like running and getting this new gun, and it's quite a nice gun actually, and like he's just like he's super chill, and that's what I like, and I like listening to things like that. So I don't know. Like, I mean, I think I know what you're saying. I know what you're getting at. I do think for sure, but I think that as well. Like, there is also like the market for the kind of more chill, laid back people. Like that's what I like to watch.
Yeah.
No.
I think there is a market for it. I just think the market is smaller.
Yeah, I think.
I think it's smaller, and so. But if you're playing a numbers game, then the chance of growth is less. I think than like than someone that is a bit more who overacts and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on what game you play, and I think it also massively depends on like, this is going back to like short form content, like what style of, does your short form content represent you as a streamer?
Yeah.
Like, or is your short form content actually, you're just creating content to farm views, but actually it portrays your personality in a way that isn't like it is on stream. So similar to like when someone comes over and you're not playing the same game, they come over expecting a personality that they have experienced from a TikTok, and they come and watch you on stream, and you're actually like, oh wow, you're not quite what I thought you would be. Like,
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a thing there as well. Like, like I think it's really easy to see through when somebody's like being fake. I think for a lot of people see through it, and I think if like you were to be on stream and somebody, gifts a sub and you're like, oh my God, like, thank you, and you're like screaming, and there's like sirens going off, and like, some people can do that and that's how they are. And then there's other people who you can tell like, okay, it's not how you are. You're putting this on, but then there's also the representation thing, which is, I and a great point is like, there's a girl who she's always, every time I go on YouTube, she's always like recommended in shorts. And she's kind of like, for me, I always see her, and she's like this cosplay kind of person. And she kind of does these really cool, like transition TikToks where she kind of is like in normal clothes, and then she'll do some crazy like thing and she'll swap, and she's always there. And, her stuff, like the way she edits is fucking amazing. And she's got like 5.8 million subscribers on YouTube. And then like I've seen her on Instagram, and she has like millions of followers on Instagram as well. But she streams on Twitch, and I followed her on Twitch, and she averages like 20 viewers on Twitch, because when she's not in this like crazy hype mode of doing these like cool transitions and all this crazy stuff, I'm just doing this. I don't know if this is a representation, but like she does all this. She does all this. Exactly when she's kind of just sitting there playing the game, and she's just kind of like in her normal. She's not in like her character or anything. She's like 20, 30 viewers, and this is someone who has millions of followers on 2 other platforms.
Interesting.
And probably TikTok. I don't really go on TikTok, but I'm assuming she's huge there too.
Probably.
So it's like.
Yeah, interesting.
And I'm just like,
that is,
you can't, you need to have, if you're going to be doing the short form, you're going to be doing all these things, like, you need to also just think about like that funnel back to Twitch. If that's your goal, what does that funnel look like? How are you doing it? Is it as simple as putting your Twitch name at the end of the clip? No, because nobody's going to click it. Like, you need to let people know. It needs to, I think that's a thing that's different for everybody, right? And that understanding how you make that funnel. So for me, like, on YouTube, I say at my YouTube videos, I'm like, midway through the video or whatever, I'm like, oh, I'll make sure to throw in a sentence in the script that's like, this happened to me while I was live on Twitch. And then I bring up the little link below icon that says, right, that's linked down. It's linked below. It's in the description. It's also in the pinned comment. Hey, what did you think about this thing? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Let me know on my Twitch chat. Let's talk about it, And I get such crazy high traffic of people. Like, I would say at least once a stream, somebody comes in. Oh nice. Yeah. Hey man.
Why? Because you can tell through like the click-through question that you've.
Well, no, they'll come into chat and they're like at least once a stream, someone in chat's like, hey, I just finished watching your video. I clicked the link in your comment. Oh my God, you're live. Or I'll say something like clickbaity. I'm like, here, ask me. I'm live. Chances are I'm live right now or something like that, and people will always come in, but like, that's how I've dealt with the funnel. But you need to think about that funnel. How does it look? What works? Try out different things. Like, say it at the end of the TikTok. I don't know. Put it in the, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of different ways to do it, but like, understanding that funnel and making it work is a big thing that people need to consider.
Yeah, I always go back to just like relatability. Always just go back to like like, how can you make your content relatable to the people that you want to kind of bring over to Twitch? If you can bring over people that relate to your content, then they'll probably relate to you, and that will increase the chances of them sticking around.
Yeah,
I think,
for sure.
Rather than creating content that doesn't necessarily represent you, and you just kind of bring people over in some, I don't know, a clickbaity way, like I've seen on TikTok, and I encourage people to do it, but it's kind of difficult to keep those people because they haven't come over because of a connection between you and your content. It's because you've like done, oh, like it's been 3 hours, I don't do this, I'm going to shave my head off. Like, yeah, they don't give a fuck about you. They just want to see you shave your head off. Like,
yeah.
But it works.
And that's kind of what I go for, you know, like that. Just I just like to be honest, right? And that's like the best comment I've ever like. I got a few comments that I always really like that are people are always like, hey, like I really like how relatable you are, or like how honest you are in this video, because I'm not sitting there and I'm not doing the whole like I play the YouTube game to an extent, but I'm not sitting there going like, in today's video, I'm gonna show you how. And it's like, no, I'm just like, hey, today we're gonna talk about this, and this is wild, and let's talk about it. And you know, yeah, I'll throw a snippet of make sure you stick around to the end of the video because we're gonna talk about this. And what, like, you know, for the most part, I just like to kind of keep it as real as I can. And you know, what you see is what you get 99% of the time, unless I'm unhinged that particular day. But yeah.
I think with that sort of content, you're playing a long game, I think, because you're not playing a numbers game by creating content. But then I think, like I was having a conversation yesterday, Tony, like if you believe in the value that you're giving and you believe that people will enjoy that content, and you dedicate yourself to it and continuing to get better, it might take you 5 years to get there, but you're staying true to you. And you're still pushing out content that you genuinely enjoy creating because it is true to you. And I think if you play a longer game, that content eventually finds more people that resonate with that. Because there's plenty of people that resonate with the just kind of like, I'm being real here. I'm not playing the algorithm. Like, I'm just kind of saying how it is. Like,
yeah. No, for sure.
I think there's definitely a big audience that enjoy that.
Absolutely. Long game. Right. Quality, no.
People don't want to play the long game, though.
Sorry?
People don't want to play the long game.
No one does. I mean, I think aim for the long game, and you never know, it could become the short game, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would rather, like, I just don't know if I was to make 2 videos and then all of a sudden they blew up and got millions of views, and next thing I know, I had 200 subscribers, like 200,000 subscribers. I don't know if I would know how to retain that, but I feel like I've learned a lot now over the last kind of couple of years of doing this, that like, all right, yeah, like, okay, when if we have that kind of come up where shit, now we've got a couple of 100K or whatever, you know how to manage that, and you know how to work that and scale that again, you know. Because like, I mean, I've seen creators, like people I know who have blown up on YouTube and, you know, 6 months on, not doing it anymore. Like, just not, they can't handle it because they just don't know how to. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to scale it. They don't know how to, you know, acquire deals. They don't know how to, you know, like, yes, your follower, your sub count's going up, but is your income? You know, how are you scaling that? Like, are you spending the money that you're making on ad revenue effectively so that you can maintain this? No, you're not. You're going out and buying a 4090 because like, cool, I got money in my pocket, you know. Seen it, like, honestly, I've seen it happen. We're like young guys, and they end up blowing it. So it's I would rather I mean, maybe this is copium, I don't know. I want the long game. It's gonna take me 20 years. So well, yeah.
Sweet. Before we wrap up now, I just got like one more question, really. Like, kind of what like, what's kind of next for you? Like, we talked about it. Let's just say going into next year, right? Like, is there anything that you're changing that in the way that you currently? So you said you got a job and you're kind of looking for kind of 1 or 2 videos a month, and like how often you're streaming. Just like wondering from a schedule perspective, or like, is there anything you're unhappy with that you're kind of trying to slowly transition to doing? Like,
I mean, or maybe not the answer that you're potentially expecting, but I definitely want to prioritize me more. You know, I feel like for the last 2 years I haven't prioritized myself. You know, I feel like for the last 2 years I've been prioritizing content and everyone else, and it's like, I want people to like this video, and I want, you know, I want it to do well, and I want it to get views. And okay, it's not getting the same amount of views. It's getting 20% less than it normally does. And oh god, what if people hate me? And oh god, like the videos were shit, so I need to just make another one tomorrow and get it out quick. Or like I need to stream. Like I can't go to this place because I have to stream, and yada yada yada. And I think for 2023, like especially now that I'm not, doing it full time. And don't get me wrong, I will do it again full time. Like I'm kind of cementing that in. Like I'm going to go back to it,
Yeah.
but I want to go back to it my own way. I kind of fell into it because of the pandemic and stuff like that. Like okay, this is working and this is cool, and I want to go back my own time. So I think like next 2023, I just want to prioritize like me and kind of be like and I don't mean like prioritize me in that like I'm not streaming tonight or I'm not making a video, not like that, but I like this idea. I think it's cool. Fuck SEO. Fuck whatever. I want to make this because I think it's good and I think people will enjoy it. And if they don't, whatever. I enjoyed making it. And I think that's kind of when you stop caring necessarily about so obviously the numbers are important and I'm a numbers guy and I like all that stuff. But sometimes you kind of just have to forget about the numbers and just make something because it's cool.
Yeah.
And even if it's not cool, you think it's cool. And I think that's kind of what I want to do. But I suppose a more streamer answer would be like, I definitely...
No, that's a perfect
okay,
answer.
There you go.
I was going to say, like, in my head, I was thinking, like, you want to be more in control of your content rather than the content kind of controlling you and dictating you.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
So, yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, I guess that's much healthier, isn't it? Like
it is, man. Because I mean, like, for the last couple of years, like, I mean, maybe it's just also maybe it's down to my own poor time management, but like, I'm like, sneaking into bed at all hours. You're up early. You're not sleeping right. You're barely, looking after yourself. You're not eating well. I was kind of going like, oh shit, like I got to stream, so I could cook or I'll order something, or I'll just eat eggs or something like that. And like you're sitting down all the time. You're not exercising as well as you can be. You're growing gross beards. It happens. So I definitely think like mind, body, all that kind of stuff. I want to prioritize, and like that, I think content can come when it comes, and when there's an idea there, there'll be an idea there, and that's what I'll go after.
Yeah, I think you hit a good point there in that, like, it's just not sustainable, really.
No.
I see a lot of streamers, and I was one of them, and I think ultimately every streamer comes at a point where they are like living a life that's like just completely like not sustainable in how much they're streaming, how much content they're creating, and unless you're making shit tons of money where like you can do it for 6 months and then not have to do it again, which most can't.
Or hire people to do the shit that takes the most time.
Yeah, you're chasing something that at a rate of which you're just not going to achieve because you're just going to burn out before you get there.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Look after yourselves, everybody. Right?
Yeah.
No amount of views is worth sacrificing your own health.
I'd love to see you create some content on that. That's what I've been thinking about creating. You could definitely, like you said, you're trying to like broaden out your content. Like I think definitely there's some ideas.
Yeah,
there
no,
on,
I've got a lot of that.
Mental health within streaming. I don't think there's enough of it.
100%, and it's something I'm really like outspoken about when I'm live. So maybe should be something I'm outspoken about. More on YouTube for sure. Absolutely. Coming 2023.
Just got to think. Yeah, we'll see it. Well. Dan, it's a pleasure talking to you. I really enjoy that conversation. I love talking to you. I think talking to someone that's in the streaming education space is really good because you just have a very broad perspective on everything.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I love
man,
that. I really enjoyed
thanks
it.
for having me on. Really, really appreciate it. And as I said, pleasure as always. So, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, dude.
Take care, man. Have a nice day.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye.